morning to everybody. So today is the MMPH executive study and the compensation and reward management. We have to today we have to discuss about the block number 3. In block number 3, it is contained the job evaluation and the internal equity. Then unit number 8 is your pay structure. And unit number 9 is the external equity and pay service. And unit 10 is your institutional mechanisms for compensation. So first we try to understand what are the job evaluations. So job evaluations and the internal equity, you have to see it. A basic binding factor for an employee with the organizations in the compensations and recognition he gets for the contribution services he renders to the employees, the desired output or goals of the enterprise. Basically, here I actually what things are emphasized is here. That is, employee are doing something. They are giving some of the work, and based on these, there are some expectations, some remunerations, or it should be compensated in a wage fashion, some salary. So the job evaluation are basically what the services he has rendered and how much, and really it should be desired goals which are already set by the enterprises or the company. So based on this, the evaluations evaluation will be done. So we all know the salary including the allowances or wages in the prime compensation to the employee. This is the basic compensation for the employee. Apart from that, maybe there are so many other things are there. But preliminary, the wages, what are the package is there, that is we can consider as a salary. The basic tenets of the Taylor's scientific management with respect to the human resource management center around, that is right man for the right job. Taylor says, so this is the one of the motto, and right pay for the right job. So one thing person should be right, means basically his qualification, skills, his efficiency, everything should match with the particular these positions. So that's why he's for the right job. At the same time, parallelly, you have to see that for this particular job, how much money has been fixed, I mean, as a compensation. So that has to be paid to for this right job. So this is the way we can interpret the evaluation part, job evaluation part. Defined by British Standard Institutions in 1969, the job evaluation is a generic term covering the methods of determining the relative worth equity, that is basically the equity of the jobs. Job evaluation is a systematic, quantitative and qualitative method for determining the relative worth of a job in comparison with the and the outside general organizations also, within and outside the organization. It helps to eliminate wage inequalities and to establish a basis for sound salary and wage structures. So through this process, that job evaluation process, it will help to equalize the packages with compensation, and if any problems and ambiguities are there, that can be enumerated, and based on this, you can have some solid salary structures. For example, suppose the job evaluation process is not there in any company and any organization. For the sake of discussion, suppose that process is not there. What will happen? It will happen, the salary structure will be hazard. I mean, there is no basis for the right job, who will give to whom how much package. It is probably in a assumptions you can make the package, but it may not be a correct way because the right persons may not be getting the right pay. So some there will be some inequalities and some problem will create in the package systems. So that this why the job evaluation process should be there, and so that you can eliminate the policies. So job evaluation consists of the following. What are the things are there? Job analysis, the process of examining the content of a job, breaking it down into its tasks, functions, processes, operation, and the elements. Job description of a job based on job analysis. Now specifications, see here all the terms are little different. Analysis is different thing. There is a total process. So all together, all these things are the evaluation. Within the job evaluation process, we can say job analysis, job description, job specification, job grading, job classifications. All these things are falling under the job evaluations. That's why the job evaluation consists. So all these are component of the job evaluations. Job evaluations. Discussion basically the tasks. What are the things are here? That is based on the analysis are prepared the job descriptions. So analysis first, then after that you can have a better way you can prepare the descriptions. Now specifications, the statement of the content of the job based on the job descriptions and the job grading. When you have prepared the job descriptions and the grading, then you can add all these things you can have a prepare for the specifications. So everything are step by step and in a sequences. Grading is basically ranking of the job as a result of job analysis. Classification basically you're grouping the job according to their worth. How much value is there, how much package is there. That is the way you can classify the things. Assessment. Now another component is there. This is also a part of your job evaluations. That is your job assessment. the description of a monetary value of the basis of the job. That is the grading itself. So you have to assess all the things. Another thing is your classification. That is also need and there. Now, wages or pay these equalities do creep in due to a number of reasons in our organizations. Namely, what is the thing that is a favoritisms by the supervisor and the manager. Then the pressures from the employee group unions, scarcity of the skills, unsystematic approach to pay structure, job evaluations as a scientific approach brings in better rationalizations in pay wage structures. So some internal equity is there. Because sometimes during the preparation of the pay packages, it has been seen that some of the reasons are there because the supervisor and the manager, they are in some favoritisms are there. Pressures from the employee groups, union specials, especially in the union specials, no, this much amount should be there, this much DA should be there, Mr. Salam should be there. So that type of pressures are coming sometimes. So, so making a rational compensation package uh, for management is sometimes facing a lot of problems. Then another thing is those who are preparing the pay package systems, those who are the board in the panels or the committee, they are not skilled enough. That their performance or maybe the past experience is not enough. So that's why the scarcity of the skills. So in the all these things are sometimes the effect. However, the primary and the secondary objectives in job evaluation starts are as follows. So what are the objectives, primary objectives? To establish the wage level of the plant, establish the relative wages level in a plant, to bring new jobs to their proper relative uh, parity and the existing jobs, to facilitate the wage negotiations as secondary objectives basically, and to determine the qualities, uh, basically the job specification, what the good specification for purpose, and for the new jobs that another thing is to determine the criteria of the merit rating of the promotions. So all of the basically talking about the object because the criteria should be good. What type of qualification you required, how much experience you required for particular these jobs, and the promotion grading after 4 years or 3 years, what the type of is the rating, uh, the wages rates, uh, to find the scope of the automation and the improvement, any automation or improvement scope are there or not. These all are to be in the as a objectives. To train new supervisors, those who are in the new supervisors, so that to train them to improve the working condition as better compensation in lieu of that, because basically we have to supporting systems should be required for compensation package. What should be there? That should promote, that should improve the organizations. Should not be deteriorate the things. So that are also objectives not to keep in mind. How much this much package are really help for the working conditions or not. Qualities for the new jobs and the employee selections. To determine the criteria of the merit rating and the promotions, because when you are considering as a recruitment purposes, so merit is one of the point. So rating are always only based on the merit also. And then wage rates also to be considered, how much wages should be there, this is sufficient or not. Another is your to find the scope of the automations, that also we have already discussed. Now, the methods and the system of the job evaluations. One is the conventional process. In that case, a variety of job evaluation systems are in use, and all them are modifications of four basic systems. Traditionally, or we can say is conventionally, suppose which are the things are normally are surveyed or seen basic systems. These are the ranking systems, the grading systems, the factor comparison systems, and the point systems. So this is the conventional process. Based on these, we are preparing the compensation package. All types of jobs are all labeled. There is a non-quantitative, ranking method. This in non-quantitative method, There are ranking methods and the classification method. Uh, so equity methods and the system of the job valuation, there are quantitative measure is also there. Where if we see the as a quantitative angle, then there are two things: points ratings method and the factor comparison method. Earlier we have seen that is a non-quantitative methods. They are ranking and the classification. But in the case of your quantitative, that point setting method and factor comparison method are to be considered. Then innovative and non-conventionals. There are two things. The final ranking of the job is based on the average ranking of all members and the times ranked are considered. So what are the advantage? This simplest of all procedures. Then it is less time consuming. Time is not taking very much. It leaves more room for unions to bargain to bargain. So this is one of the advantage for the ranking of the jobs. So there, because most of the in these cases, unions leaders are have a well bargain. They can have enough opportunity to discuss the things. Because they are also allowed to, on the part of these discussions, disadvantage. Uh, that also is another aspect we have to see it. Sometimes equal differentials are assessed to adjacent ranks. Suppose the level are not very distinguished. Sometimes the differential are very adjacent ranks. So it may not be distinguished very accurate. None of the committee members is likely to be familiar with all jobs because those who are the committee member, uh, they exactly the job design or job all these things which are already fit for this job particular task. They may not be aware of it. They are not familiar on all jobs. Maybe traditionally finance, marketing, or maybe there is basic some of the areas they may familiar, but overall all the level of jobs, supervision levels, the working levels, the management levels, so they may not be aware of all these things. So that is a crucial point. If they not aware or they not familiar with these all jobs, how they will decide the things. So committee member, it means it give a signal or it give a message, means the committee members should be enough familiar with these jobs, he should be aware of all type of jobs. With only he can give a contribute things in the right way. So this is one of the disadvantage part and advantage part. The classification method. In this method, again, you have to see some of the advantages and disadvantages also. It is simplest of all procedures. It is totally simplest process. So no ambiguities. It is less time consuming. There is no time taking very much, and it leaves more room for the unions to bargain. Again, the unions can bargain the things. They can enough time for these things. They are allowed for these discussions. So these are all are advantages in classical method. Disadvantage. Disadvantage as such is nothing there very much. So that's why it is not noted. Now we are coming to the point rating method. There is another method. In this method, what are the advantages? It is the most sophisticated systems. The point rating. All the outcome is in the hard, fast numbers, fact numbers. Because what are exactly the facts that has been reflected? And point rating, the accuracy will be there. And it is a, because it is a sophisticated system, so it's very minutely can observe the things. Uh, Based on this method, because there is a, it says the name says the pointing means everything are very pinpointed or accuracy is there. So very systematic way is there. And what are the outcomes are timely, that is also based on the fact only. So this is one of the advantage. But disadvantage is this, because it is a lengthy process, so that's why time is consuming more. So it is time consuming. Another disadvantage. Another disadvantage is this satisfying the benchmark jobs for the degrees are required to put forth the rating efficiently. To do so, basically for effective measuring, so some benchmark is there, and to satisfy this point, so tolerance level, basically the degree are required. So to achieve the things, all these things are sometimes difficult, and because it is a benchmark is already given, so sometimes it's really not achievable sometimes. So this is one of the disadvantage part. To satisfy the benchmark jobs sometimes. Now job analysis for job descriptions. The National Personnel Association, is NPA, it defines the job analysis as a process which results in establishing the component of a job and ascertaining the human qualifications necessary for its successful performance. So this already our NPA has given, the National Personnel Association, it is defined in this way. This is a process which are ascertaining the component of the job and to ascertain the human qualifications. Idea is for successful performance. Then verification with the supervisor is necessary for that, for the accuracy of the job facts. Because when you are preparing some of the job for the workers, or it may be in the supervisor itself, so that verification is very much required by the supervisor itself, because they know what to do, how to do, and how much output is required. So they are the right judge. So that job facts are accuracy, for accuracy purposes, verification is required with the supervisors. The data obtained through the job analysis are recorded on what is known as a job analysis sheet. So one sheet will be there, it may be Excel sheet. So data are to be collected, where it may be mentioned the name of the workers, type of job, how much performance levels, what type of quality. So everything is based on the previous data and the latest practices of the other competitors companies can be listed, and you have to analysis for this. So recorded data is sometimes very important, and it has to be recorded also. what the things are obtained by the survey or by the discussion during the process of job analysis. You should require the primary data and as well as the recorded data, means secondary data. Both the things are required for the analysis purposes. And all these things are to be tabulated and in the analysis sheet. The analysis format may vary depending upon the nature of jobs analysis. So, because the format may be bar chart, it may be some of the car, it may be some pie chart. So, what are the fashion? Depending on the nature of jobs, it may be some percentage wise, maybe in a tabulated form. So, different way different purposes are. Formatting is one of the important factors related to the physical skill aspects can be covered for the workman against the managerial assets of the decision making and the responsibility for the planning, etc. For supervisory level, in supervisory levels, there should be some how much managerial experience are there, aspect is there, decision making responsibility, how much it should be, everything are what in a planned way it has been recorded. Now, job analysis for the description, again, this is part the job descriptions. So, a designation by itself does not give a clear idea as to what is involved in a job and the situation in which it is carried out. So, it is essential that the jobs are described accurately in order that anyone using the job description can get a clear and definite picture of the work involved. So, description is very important because otherwise it will be a confusion because the description is not correct. So, how you carry out the jobs? That is the question. Job descriptions are used for a variety of purposes, such as selection of employees, training, prevention of the accidents, and the job evaluations. So, based on these descriptions, as a recruiters or as a recruitment sales can advertise the things for the further process. I mean, for interview, written tests, interviews, panel discussions, group discussions, and final interview. All stages should be mentioned in the job descriptions. So where it will be easy for the selection of the employees, and what type of training is required, particular these jobs, pre-training, during the training or post-training, everything. And for example, for the job like this, your safety oriented things. So there are some of the prevention of accidents, accidents, and then what should be there. So and the job evaluation. So job description is further description of the jobs based on the job analysis sheets and essential contains. So again, there will be a subheading within the job descriptions. There are the main part and the secondary part is also there. That is your detail. I mean, identification of the data, then your summary of jobs, work performed, everything contains will be there. Responsibilities of the tools, equipments, materials, reports, and your records, work of others and the results are to be there. Work environment and the health hazards, that is also your part of your descriptions should be there. And required qualities, what quality we required uh, should be highlighted. Linking with the wage fluctuations. So, what about the job evaluations we are preparing? All these things, job description, analysis, whatever the things, it should be aligned with the our wage fluctuations. So, link with the wage, how much money, accordingly, how much job is suitable for that. It should be overloaded or it should be underloaded. What are the job I think we are described or uh, to be given within the span of the 8 hours or for the month set. So that it should be the link with the wage fixations. Means again the money means compensation package should be such a way that it is not a over excess work is not there. And under should be correctly utilized. Human capacities are correctly utilized and remuneration is also to be paid accordingly. So some linkages should be there. What are the major steps for the involved in this area? Deriving the company's wage card. So you can make some of the card and match with it should be synchronized with this card itself. What the if we consider it as a one of the wages, money and the job. So it should be well defined. The card should be almost there shouldn't be any dissimilars. I mean some synchronization should be there. Link should be there. Job classifications. So job classification is also important. Categorically, it should be defined easily. It can be uh, by the uh, facts and the design. You can classify it. There should not be any closer or no gap should not be. Distinct parts should be there. Pricing of the jobs also important because pricing particular these jobs pricing are very important. Suppose for example for the casual laborers, if you work for one day, how much money should be there? Or 4 hours we have worked, how much money should compensation? I mean money should be there, especially for the contractual laborers. So pricing is really important for the so another implementing the job evaluations. Now it has been found that the idea of the your carrying out the job evaluation work mostly comes from either the top management or the manager, the senior manager. So ideas and the decisions are normally on the top. So this that's why you can able to implement the things because for the implementations, your intervention of the top management is very much required. Often it is the personal manager who takes the initiative to put the idea across the consideration of the management. Maximum time which has been observed, the personal manager are normally taking the initiatives, and this is the idea, this consideration for the manager. So after the idea is accepted by the top management and the employee representatives, there are three alternatives open for the getting the job done. So what are the things? First thing, some idea has to be initiated. Who will initiate the things? Personal manager, or we can say the HRM department, those who are, they have to initiate some of the things. And that idea they can throw, they can add to comfort the concern. They can. So before initiating the personal manager, he has to survey, he has to inquire, he has to collect the data, Then only you can prepare the proposals, and that proposals idea, in terms of the ideas can be put up to the government. So in turn, and the same time the representatives also, because they have to circulate the things to this meeting, to this notice, to the notifications, what are the way they have to intimate to the representatives also, the members representatives, in terms of the union also. They have to give one of the notifications. This is the idea can highlight. This is the things are there. And finally, the document will come. Document will take the decisions. So there are three alternatives open for the getting the job. The company employees, consultants, jointly carried out by the company employees and the consultants. So there are three-way things, and finally you have to implement the things. So only within the company, the employees from there it can become, means they can do these things. This idea they can initiate the things. Others, if they are not competent enough or they are not that much skill, they don't have that much skill to initiate the ideas, not they cannot able to generate the ideas, then management company can go for the consultants, those who are expert in this field. So that consultant will prepare the things and it will be accepted by the, again consultant joined, again they have to survey and discuss as per their process, they have to prepare, because they have enough idea, the consultant, so much practice they have done. Third option is their alternative, they are jointly carried out by the company employees and the consultant, mixing. So some things consultant and they are jointly both the ideas at lab practically, and the experience, what are the situations and the experience of consultant, considering the consultant they have enough experiences, and the employees can give the factuals, what are the things, how best evaluations can be done, job evaluations, fixing the jobs, the employee can tell, then both way, it is a jointly they can decide, they can initiate the. So the continued interest of the management and the union makes it possible to tide over the difficulties at the stage of the during the implementation. Most of the cases, it has been observed that implementation is very difficult, because most of the project, most of the ideas are flop, I mean, not executed properly. So, implementation, preliminary effort or interest are very important. Willingness and interest are very important. Both the directions. Management should be also interested, and your employee also to be interested. Then jointly it can be very easily, smoothly we can implement all the stages can be implemented. So in spite of thorough work prior to the operation of the report and the advanced planning for implementations, problems of the various kinds come up. You see, in spite of all these things, you have prepared everything, you have taken care, you have planned everything, all the report you have generated. Still, during the implementations, again the problems and various things these come. These problems can be dealt with the keeping in mind the limits set by the job evaluation systems. So, in a feedback process, the control should be there, and some sort of limits to be set. Means target you have to fix it, criteria you have to fix it. Then only you can have a monitoring. Basically, after the limit set, you have to monitor the things for the better implementations. Now, the pay structures. So, the continued interest of the management and the union makes it possible to tide over the difficulties at the stage of the implementation. So these problems can be dealt with the minor efficiencies. So various methods of the compensation have been evolved over a period of time with a view to satisfy the employee, and the various components were introduced to make the pay package to retain and motivate the employees. So now the method has changes, and now the company are always keeping in view how to satisfy their employees. So always new methods are evolving, and they are trying to adopt these things. So that's why it has introduced different things. Idea is doing things to retain the employees, and they should motivate also. So thus management pay package remains the important element for the human system. So in a part of your human resources management, so we can say the pay package means the pay package, what the thing. This is a very important element. It needs to be evolved carefully to provide a meaningful wage differentials and the salary progressions. Organizations are searching for means to find the innovative approaches to make pay package performance oriented and attractive. So always it is a dynamic nature. Once it is prepared the pay packages, it doesn't mean it will continue for a long time. It may revise, it can be modified depending on the situations, and so that uh, employee can be motivated, because if things are not motivating there, the existing systems are not motivating very much, then management has to make it or revise it to keep it more active. Now, the concept of the wage payment made to labor is generally referred to as wages. So it can be time rated or piece rated. That should be there. Okay, this hours you have to, how much this much hour you have to work, then you have to pay for that. Otherwise, this every day 5 or 7 pieces you have to complete the things, you have to product, you have to show your product, and accordingly you have to pay. So piece rate is also there. Suppose for example you have to do these things, you have to assemble the things, particular one product, some things, I will get 100 rupees per package. You have to follow things. So this also can be restricted or time. Or others 8 hours works you have to do it, and you have to get it 700 rupees or 1000 rupees. So you can fix as a time base. So it can be rate per hour, per day, per week, per month, or per year. What are the way? So in price rated systems, it can be by completions of the job task. Suppose if you are complete this job task, so you will get it. And wages fixed per unit or the performance according, or maybe a monthly. Concept of the salary, money paid periodically to persons whose output can be easily be measured, such as electrical staff as well as the supervisory and the manager staff is referred to generally as the salaries. So this way you can categorize, and it can be a measure the things. Living wages is a concept because this much money are needed. This is the minimum amount uh, wages are to be explained about. The concept is this much amount of real wages, and it is because of the survival, the basic things. So this we can see is a that is a minimum, or you can say the real wages are the paid expense. So nominal money wages is the earning in cash or its equivalent. Real wages is the money which is discounted with the cost of living index. Exactly, it is based on the price index and the living index to denote in the purchasing power of the, so that it should have a some purchasing power. It should have what is the living cost to be you can manipulate the things without any problems. So it is a part of your pay package basically. So degree of again the fair wages committee suggests on these things, the degree of skill, the strain of work, how much you can take the strain of this work, stress, how much stress you can bear it, experience involved, how much experience, training required or not, or how much training you have, 5 years training is required or not, particular this job has been obtained. So responsibilities undertaking, how much responsibility you can take it. So all part of things have to be more. These all are your differentials talking about the basic of the OGs. Now the mental and the physical requirement is also there because uh, when you are some employees are working, you have to consider his mental and the physical requirement also. The disagreeableness of the task. Suppose some of the work is there, he is not ready to accept the things. So this is also to be seen. Hazard of the work because in the area there is no safety and there is no safety belt or health hazards or it may be fire hazards. So considering all these things, so basically the work experience or work environment should be hazard free. The finding in all the basic wages is generally practiced through the scale of pay. The employee draws his basic pay in a range provided in the scales. He also gets increments on, suppose you should get the increment rate also to be fixed. Payment by result, PBR in short. That is refers to a method which provides for the direct linking to the worker. Because what are the things they are performing, that way payment should be there based on this result itself. Now another thing, incentives linked payment is also there. Because what are the it is a finance department there, can be financial or the non-financial, both types are there. Because those who are in the directly involved in the particular job, they may get a little bit more incentives, and those who are non-financials, they are getting another. So both types are the role under the certain conditions, different money should be allocated. So PBR system basically the way they are using incentive can be distinguished on the basis of unit of the accountability for performance and classified in the degree categories: individual performance, group performance, or as a whole enterprise performance. So based on these, the PBR systems can be finalized. Individual payment by result. That is the purpose is to increase the higher level of performance over the standards. Several individual previous systems are there. Some of the well-known the price rated systems, premium bonus systems, like this, and what improvement systems are there. So enterprise level system schemes are there. The scheme emphasizes gain sharing arise through the redirections in the labor and the cost. Whatever the gains are there, that can be shared to the labor source. That's the enterprise level schemes. Means company this much amount profit is there, so some of the percentages can be shared with the managerial incentive plans That is, in this case, the commission on a percentage of profit company share on the optional rates. Sometimes, okay, if you will get a 50 shares for particular this terms. So sometimes some of the kind of discount coupons also there, or paid holidays. Okay, you can take the leave for 7 days, salary will not be deducted. Any different type of incentives. A bonus. Now, bonus is one of the main things. The payment of the Bonus Act, it has 1965, that Bonus Act has been formulated. It ensures the payment of the bonus that is each year. Bonus should be every year should be. The ranges from 7.33% to 20% maximum wages bonus can be given. If those are profitable earning companies, they can give a more than 15% or but not more than 20%. Minimum is also a range is there, should be 8.33 normally, but some of the times they can consider it 7.33 also. As per the act, it is given at least 7.33%. The act compels even the loss-making industries to pay. Now, here actually is written in the act, even though the industry is not profitable, this month, the particular current year, they are not profit, still they have to pay 7.33% to that as a bonus. So, profit-making companies, that case, as I told you, the ceiling is 20%. So employee not covered by the act also get an amount uh, equivalent to bonus amount, as is Russia or something. Those who are newly joined or not completed 1 year, not in a payroll, permanent natures of job, still they are also getting some of the as a, they will also consider as a bonus. So bonus as a integrated part of the package. So bonus is always to be given by the management. Allowances such as there, that is the some settlement should be there. How much by the integrated part of the package also allowances. It may be a housing allowance, it may be a children allowance. So allowances are different case to case basis. Why it is allowance? It is basically for the social security and extra fringe benefits are the part of this. Fringe benefits are basically the objectives to organize or offering the fringe benefits to the employees to attract and retain the motivation. Because though if you are feel okay, I have some extra benefit in this company, so why should I leave this organization? So let it be continuing this organization. So that type of motivation. So in mind, so that is the way you can increase the retentions. Employee turnover can be reduced. So motivate. So fringe benefits sometimes are very important to retain the employee. This is one of the benefits. Now, what are the trends going on? That we have to see. What are the type of trends are going on? Present scenario. The positive age, or you can say the competitive age. Job openings, there are some flexible timing is also given, compensation packages given, known as a la carte and in bucket systems. Gaining the widespread acceptance among the managerial employees also. So it is a needs, time has come to see in another way and very sensitive way we have to see package should be some fringe benefits should be more and really it is a shoot for the needs for the individual employees. So accordingly, you have to make a standard packages. So apart from your traditional package systems, now the trends are going on. Most of the companies are taking it either. How to prepare the packages so that employee can be more happy. External liquidity, one of the major considerations in negotiating the salary industry administrations is that the broker wage differentiations. So should be relatively and job internal liquidity called the establishment and maintenance within the organizations. This is of the relative. And also known as the determining the going rate. Ideally, the wage systems should be so devised as to increase the productive effort of the employees or the productivity in general. Basic means of the compensate for the work performed by the employee. That is your basic should be there. Allowances like DA, CCA, GT allowance, part, etc., incentives, bonus, all are included in overtime also. So everything is a linking. And you have to understood the fair wages should be well understood for the legislation. Then cardinal principle. The Taylor says the pay for favor, the fair days work which is expected in determined by the scientific and the systematic approaches of the work study. When the output expected from the employee is estimated and norms, the output are determined. So it is as per the Taylor's. Capacity of the organization is influenced by the market forces. So it is also important productivity of the how to improve the productivity of the workforce. The prevailing compensations in the market. Suppose what are the things is as per the market. Differentials between the particular job and the respect of the others or in the other enterprise, that also you have to focus on it. Need for the employees distributed by the statutory agencies, that also to see, and you have to fair enough for this. Some of the prerequisites are there to build up the competitive wage packaging. What type of structure should be there? Unless you should have a wage structures very and your selection of the jobs about the information should be shot out. The unit which should be approaches and that also desired information. As per the survey, the pay survey is also important for external equity. It should be then comprises the infra and inter-industrial industry periods. Information survey is also important because these are the conducted in an informal way. It can be from the personal contact. You can specify the things by the local companies also. And this is the way you can see the different cross sections so that you can fine tune, you can tune the exactly. And external survey is also a part of these things for the pay structuring because many of them annually for 5 to 10 years and they fall in the main categories. So there are so many things are there. Competence is also important activities. The published survey, what are the surveys already published by the employee agencies, the career registers, and also this salary. Public policy is there. There are through this way to collective bargaining between the employees, employer, and the employees associations, and the industry things also. Pay commissions are should be there so that everything can be looked after. They can see things are moving in correct way or not. So bargaining is also important because as per the ILO, International Labour Organizations, conventions are there. Everything should be as per the things. In India, the Union basically the density is 6% the river flows on the country, and nearly two-thirds of it basically the land, but others is a public sector undertaking operations and balance in the private. So collective bargaining is also important so that we can have a good framework for the waste package can be prepared in such a way. Commissions is also important because they can look after the things are really in order or not. So central pay commission is also there, temporary and labour. So during last 50 years, the government and India has set up lot of things they have been prepared. So okay, I think now thank you very much. So we can close this session today.